A very good morning to one and all, and welcome back to your English elective classes. Yes. So, students, as we all know that we were doing elective English. In elective English, we were supposed to go for the lesson number 1, that is in short story lesson number 1, that is I sell my dream. Okay. Now this is the sixth part. If you have not seen the rest 5 part of this story, so please first I would suggest you to go that videos and look at that videos and understand the concept, then come to this one. Okay, actually the portion are very lengthy, as you know, in elective English, so the parts and the detailed explanation will be also little bit long. Okay, shall we continue from the paragraph where we left? Now this is the disaster. As she said ki she wanted to go and it will be okay for her and to not to meet the Frida again and बाकी के लोग भी उसके साथ होते हैं. and क्या होता है कि उन लोगों को क्या कन्वर्सेशन होती है. और नेक्स्ट हम लोग जैसा कि इसमें आ रहे हैं कि हमने कहा था कि what the conversation was exactly about to be. Okay, now before the disaster in Havana, I had seen Prof. Rita in Barcelona so unexpected and fortuitous a way that it seemed mysterious to me. It happened on the day that Pablo Neruda stopped on Spanish soil for the first time and since the Civil War on a stopover during a long sea voyage to Valparaiso. Here the writer is saying that before the disaster in Havana, he met her in Barcelona, that is in Spain. Okay, and it was the same time when Pablo Neruda he had stopped in Spain with midway on his journey. He wanted to go somewhere else, but in a short way, in a midway, he has to leave. So Pablo Neruda was going to Valparaiso in Chile. Okay, but he did not go there. He stopped in a midway. Then he spent a morning with us hunting a big game in the second-hand bookstore and a portal. He bought an old, dried-out volume with a torn binding for which he paid what would have been his salary for the last 2 months and consulate in Rangoons. He moved through the crowd like an invalid elephant, with an child's curiosity in the inner workings of each other. His things he saw, and for the world to appear to him, is an immense wind-up toy for which he was life intended itself. Okay, so here the writer is talking about he had stopped then Barcelona over there and author met him at the same time and he Prof. Rida once again. So because he thought that I will never meet to Prof. Rida, but what's happening so that he met Prof. Rida once again. So he tells us that Pablo went to a second-hand bookstore and he got a book from huge sum of money. The amount was very huge, and he moved through the crowd. Okay, a crowded street as if he was very ill and he looked everything was curiously just like a child. Okay, as the child sees that I want this or should I buy this and what should I go, means with their curiosity they have the interested for that. Okay, so like a child who was looking at all the things. Then I have never known anyone closer to the idea one has of Renaissance Pope. He was a gluttonous and retained, even against his will. He also presided at the table. Matilde, his wife, would put a bib around his neck. Okay, now what's happening? Further, the author tells us that Pablo Neruda was a very gluttonous. Here, glutton means person who eats or consume unusual amount of food or drink. Okay, don't forget the words whichever I am telling you, maybe it will be helpful for you all. So as he was the gluttonous, his wife would dress him up in a high bed like the one of the barber shop to prevent him that wearing his sauce that he ate. Okay, now what happened next? In the barber shop rather than a dining room, but it was the only way to keep him from taking a bath in his house. That day at Carvalhier's, that means a restaurant, okay, was typical. He ate 3 whole lobsters, dissecting them with a surgeon's skill, and at the same time devoured everyone else's plate with his eyes, and tasted a little from each with a delight, and made the desire to eat contagious. Clams from Galcia, and mussels from Cantabria, prawns from Alicante, sea cucumber from Costa Brava. And in the meantime, like the French, he spoke of nothing but the other culinary delicacies, in a particular that the Prefastoria shellfish of Chile, which he carried in his heart. All at once he stopped eating, turned his lobster's antennae, and said to me, it was a very quiet voice. Okay, now here what happens, that definitely, as I told you, that they had a dinner at Calveria, that's the name of the restaurant, and dinner was very typical. That the seafood was there. The author tells us that different foods were sourced from different places. Like they ate clams from Galicia, mussels from Cantabria, brost from Alicante, sea cucumber from Costa Brava. Okay, and then the author tells us about that he was very fond of food. Pablo discussed his culinary delicacies, and his particular that the shellfish chili, which was his favorite one. Okay, all the foods are coming actually. We are coming to know about the different foods also. I don't know whether from where you can get it, but if still it is there, then we must know about this. Okay, now let's continue with the next paragraph. There is someone behind me who won't stop looking at me. Now he is feeling so that there is someone, Pablo Neruda is taking that, who is staring at me. I glanced over his shoulders, and it was true. 3 tables away sat an interpret woman in an old-fashioned felt like that, and a purple scarf she was wearing, eating without haste and staring at him. I recognized her right away. She had grown old and fat, but it was Frida with the snake ring on her index finger. Okay, now the author is talking ki he was eating, suddenly a Pablo stopped and he looked at another author, that he felt that someone was looking at him from behind. So the author looked over his shoulder, and that saw that a woman, he says that an interpret women means fearless and adventurous, old. This woman was in her old fashioned felt hand, and had the purple scarf. She was eating very fast. She was staring at him very and author Pablo. So Gabriel recognized her. She was a Frau Frida with this snake ring. What the recognition was, that she was wearing a snake ring. Okay, and in her index finger. So he recognized her again from the ring on her finger. Then what happens? She was traveling from Naples on the same ship as Neruda and his wife, and they had not seen each other on board. We invited her to have coffee at our table, and I encouraged her to talk about her dreams in order to astound the poet. He paid no attention for them from the very beginning. He had announced that he did not believe in prophetic dreams. Okay, now the author is talking about ki definitely he came to know that she was very old, traveling on the same ship, and just like Pablo and his wife, she was traveling from Naples. They invited her over to for the coffee and encouraged her to talk about the dream in order to as you know that she used to dream. So he told that you have to describe your interpret your dream in order to astound poet Pablo. But Pablo was not interested in listening to her predictive stories, predicted dreams in fact, and he felt that only poetry is clairvoyant, जैसे कि clairvoyant he said. तो उसने कहा कि सिर्फ पोइट्री ही एक क्लेवेंट हो सकती है, जिसका मतलब होता है कि एबिलिटी टू प्रेडिक्ट द फ्यूचर. ओके, क्लेवेंट मीन्स. एंड आफ्टर लंच दे हैड strolled along the Ramlas. Now a Ramlas is here. Okay. Now what's happened after lunch? During the inevitable stroll along the Ramlas, I lagged behind with Prof. Rita so that we could renew our memories with no other cars listening. Okay. So she does not want to listen anything else. She calls Ramlas, and Ramlas was there to renew the memories. Okay, and she told me that she had sold her properties in Australia and retired to Oporto in Portugal, where she lived in a house that she was described as a fake castle on a hill, from which the one could see all the way across the ocean and Americas. Although she did not say so, her conversation made it clear that dream by dream she had taken over the entire fortune of her ineffable patrons in Vienna. Okay, and that did not surprise me, however, because I had always thought her dream were no more than a strategian for survival, and I told her so. Here she is talking about a very famous street in Barcelona. Both the author and Frida, they moved behind the other, and they kept on talking about their past, how they met before, and what's happening was. And then suddenly one now the women was told that the author, she has moved from Australia to Oporto. Okay, Australia to Oporto, in which is in Portugal. There she has a big house. So from her talk, we come to know that she was taken over the entire fortune of her ineffable patrons. Okay. Ineffable here means ki incapable of being described in words. So they were too great than you can not put into words. So the author tells that women that he had always thought her dreams were no more than strategian for surviving now. Strategian means ki a plan, okay, or a scheme which is used to outwit the opponents or to achieve the particular goal. So they were very essential, you can say. And now, because I had always thought her dreams were no more than a stratagem or surviving, as I told her. So the next one, she laughed her irresistible laugh. You were the impudent as ever. She said that she should know more because the rest of her group had stopped to wait for Neruda to finish talking in Chilean slangs on the parrots along the Ramlas D2 and Rajos. When we resume our conversations, Frida changed the subject. Okay, from there onwards, we will continue in the next video, because if I'll speak more or will explain the more paragraphs, maybe you were unable to catch up with all the things, and try to clear the rest of the parts of this story, which earlier I have uploaded it, and now whatever I'm talking about the para voice, I'm trying to make you understand the concept, so that you could understand that exactly what is in the I sell my dream, how she used to do this, where she moved away, and what's happening of how they met. And earlier, as ambassador is talking about, that he suddenly recognized her by the finger. So how her fingering was, which she wore in a indexed finger, so how she was a point to recognize her, how she made, and what's happening so far. And then we have come to the, I think we have came to the conclusion of this story. In my next video, probably probably we will end this up. Okay, and we'll tell you once again that the things which we have completed in I Sell My Dream, exactly what are the things that the question may come in your exams, and according to questions I will tell you the points also. I will discuss with you all the questions also, hope so. So for now onwards, so please and look at the all videos, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.